Thriving business.
The break, it's 25 minutes to the top of the hour. This is Mark Means Business, and definitely Amanju Bariji here with Masika Time, and we are driving you through all the way. But of course, like we promised you that when we return, we shall be taking a look at what's happening at the trade fair at UMA. And of course, as we speak right now, a brand is already on ground on site to make sure that he's actually giving us what is really happening. We are really anticipating quite a lot that is happening in there, and we expect that today this trade fair is going to be actually a unique one. Brian, a very good morning to you. How is the situation right there on ground?
All right, thank you very much, Andrew, and a warm good morning to you and all to the viewers who are watching our morning show. We are live here at the Wuma Showgrounds to witness the 29th Business Expo that is happening this year. To give you a recap of what is happening today, this is a different one compared to all the years that have been organized in this very place because in this expo, in this business expo, we are expecting more than 300 visitors coming from different nations, to mention that is China, Kenya, and other nations to come and showcase their businesses in this very place. Allow me paint a picture of what is really happening in this place because we reached very early in the morning at about 6 a.m. But surprisingly, people are lining up in long lines in order to gain interest in this very place. And they are not really coming in for free, but they are paying 10,000 shillings. As you can see, different business stores have been put in place. Each and every company, each and every product is being displayed so that it can gain access to the public. Now, this is one of the entrances, and this entrance that you see right here is the one that is next to Nakawa Market. It is being accessed by different cars and those who are moving in by foot. As you can see, the security is so tight and there is tight inspection. Those of you who are accessing this expo using this entrance, you will understand that everyone is asked for a card who is coming in. There are some categories that were given different cards, like media and other exhibitors were given some unique cards. So those are the people that are accessing this main entrance without paying a single coin. And those of you who are accessing this entrance without any card or anything that identifies you as an exhibitor or a service provider, you are asked to pay 10,000 shillings. And those who are driving in, as you can see, these are the specific cars that are bringing in services inside here. It is not that everyone is allowed to access this entrance that is next to Nakawa Market, but those who are few are the ones that are accessing it. There is tight security, as you can see. There is counterterrorism police, and those are the ones that are putting on black. Whenever you see that black uniform, they are in charge of counterterrorism to see that everything is in order. There is usual police who are putting on a khaki uniform. They are also in place to see that security is really tight. Not only those, but we are also having the army in this very place. We are having UPDF and other sister companies who are trying to make sure that this place is really secure for Ugandans who are accessing it. We are looking at different types of business in this very place. Barije, I want to let you know that since yesterday, people have been frequenting this very place, putting up their banners, putting up their stores in their specific places that were designated for them. As media, we are here to show you a coverage of 24 hours as Smart 24 TV to show you what is really going on. The place is still peaceful, as you can see. The weather is so friendly, as you can see. we are still moving on like usual, business as usual, and everything is moving on very well. The turn-up is also huge. As you can see, we have more than 4 entrances, and this is one of the entrances that is being accessed by a lot of people in this very place. I wanted to paint for you a picture of what is really going on, and those are different people that are coming in with different merchandise and luggages. They are really under inspection, and serious inspection. As you can see, we have officials from WOMA offices who are standing on this entrance. We have security people, we have those who are in leisure, we have bouncers in this very place to make sure everything runs on smoothly. That is all that I can paint for you, Balije, that is going on here, especially in this corner where I am standing right now. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, thank you, Brian, for that report happening at Oma there. And well, I was mainly interested in the turn-up, but I'm grateful that actually it's been the best turn-up so far. And that is hope for our trading industry, the manufacturing sector, that is going to be actually, it's going somewhere.
That could actually be a strategy of people marketing their products, you know, for going for such trade fairs.
Trade fairs, absolutely.
Yeah. I believe they're attracting huge number. I've seen Coca-Cola already there, Pepsi already there. So there are lots of
huge brands out there.
Huge brands actually going for this fair because they know they are best. They know their people. They have to go back and, you know, give to their people, you know, promotions and all that. So you see, this is the last culture of the year. How strategic are you? You should be in that trade fair. Whether you have a small business, whether you sell jewelry, you could also be a part of
that.
Yeah.
Interesting. But of course, we shall be seeing those matters. We shall be continuing with those matters later on, even tomorrow. Every day we shall be getting a feed what is happening in there. But now, to proceed with our topic of discussion, inflation. That is interest and inflation. And of course, now we need to also understand the aspect of how effective are the policies that are being done by the government of Uganda. How are they affecting inflation, and how are they in position to actually kind of manage the inflation in there? Now, of course, we see that in 2022, the central bank raised interest rates to 12% in an effort to curb inflation. Now, this was successful as inflation fell to 7.9% by the end of the year. You know, it's one thing for this inflation to happen, and it's one other factor for the central bank to put up, to raise the interest rate, but it's another for that interest rate to have impact on the inflation you're actually trying to avoid. Now, that was successful in 2022 last year. Now, in 2023, the central bank is maintaining that 12% that is interest rate due to stable low inflation. However, the central bank is keeping a watchful eye on inflation and is ready to raise interest rates again if inflation begins to climb. Now, this means that businesses and consumers can expect to continue to pay higher interest rates on loans in the near future. As for this year, now the central bank is also taking a cautious approach in interest rates in 2023. This is because the global economy is facing a number of challenges, including, of course, what we've mentioned this, and there is rising food and energy prices.
Yeah.
As we've been seeing,
fuel.
Yeah, and the central bank wants to ensure that the economy remains stable and that inflation does not rise too high. However, the central bank also wants to avoid raising interest rates so high that it stifles economic growth. That's what we've been saying, that sometimes you can actually put up an interest rate for the good of that, but it instead frustrates.
Yeah, frustrates the citizens.
Yeah, and like we've been also mentioning the factor of the distribution of incomes, which are flowing in hands of a few individuals. All those are factors that actually governments need to look at, and all those are parts of the policies which can actually combat inflation in some sort of a way. Now, of course, as I continue with my report here, businesses that rely on borrowing to finance the operations will actually continue to pay high interest rates. That could make it more difficult for businesses to actually invest.
It's so unfair to oneself if you continue borrowing, you know, to facilitate. That means you are not stable as a business. You cannot reliably depend on borrowing, on loans.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You should just shut down and know, you know what, this is a gone deal. Maybe start up as not to be negative, but then you're incurring more costs. You know, you're incurring more costs that you could actually, you know, use to do something else.
Yeah.
You cannot reach end of month. You're now going to borrow money to pay your employees. What's that?
It's not fair.
It's not fair. You're doing a disservice to yourself. If you're borrowing at higher prices, 100 million, at the end of the day, if it's 10%, it's going to be 110 million.
110
That's,
million.
10 million could do something good.
Something much more better.
Yeah.
All right. Now, of course, we cannot talk about inflation and interest rates, and we also don't talk about foreign direct investments. Now, this has been quite a big discussions, and most especially, it's actually a key discussion in most of the economies of Africa. And we see it trying to understand that how will the integration of Africa actually impact foreign direct investment. But also, we need to understand that the inflation and interest rates have an impact on foreign direct investments. How? We can actually have some interesting scenarios here, as you can actually see. We see that in 2021, Uganda experienced high inflation, which reached to 7.9%. This led to a decline in foreign direct investment inflows, which fell from $1.5 billion in 2020 to $1.2 billion US dollars in 2021. So are we seeing the ripple effect of inflation on foreign direct investment?
Very much. Very much. I mean, no one would want to really invest in a country where things are hugely expensive. Imagine I come as an investor and I set up a hotel or an industry, and now affordability of things is high, transport, I mean, fuel is expensive. So, I mean, I'm going to be losing out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
and I think this also goes to the thing we were talking about earlier with Godwin, and the fact that the minimum wage issue.
Minimum wage.
Also having a contributing factor on the foreign direct investment.
Yeah, of course, majority of these investors are not willing to put in that much.
Yeah. You cannot put a minimum wage of an average citizen at 600,000.
No, the challenge is that some of the investors, do they really meet the standard of an investor? That's also one thing we need to understand.
Very good.
Because if you are really an investor, you will know what it takes.
Yeah.
You will respect the minimum wage, and you will know that this is an investment. I need to have salaries of my employees, at least for the first week.
I mean, to increase their productivity as well.
Okay, assuming this is Uganda, you're like, okay, we're starting up a tech company. You're not going to tell me that you're going to be paying somebody 300,000. I'm just saying. I'm just giving an example. Tech people earning about 1.1 million and above. So know that. How many people I'm going to have? I'm going to need about 20 staff. 20M multiplied by 12. That money should be there if you're really an investor. But if we are to weigh these investors, I don't really think. Now in 2022, like you can see, the Central Bank of Uganda raised interest rates. That is to 12% in an attempt to cool down the economy and, of course, bring inflation under control. This led to a further decline in foreign direct investment inflows, which fell to $1 billion US in 2022. Hope that is actually really pointing out the factor that we are trying to bring out from that very matter. So it's the role of the central bank to actually make sure that there is some sort of intervention. Now, we see that a foreign investor is if he's considering like to put a new factory in Uganda, the high interest rates can make it more expensive to actually borrow money to finance the factory. So this makes the investment less attractive to the foreign investor. Now, of course, we also see another foreigner that is considering investing in a new technology company in Uganda. The high inflation rate makes it difficult to predict the future profits, you know, and now this makes the investment less attractive to the investor at the end of the day. Now, but still, the government of Uganda can try to mitigate the impact of inflation and interest rates on foreign direct investments by maintaining stable macroeconomic conditions, that is key, providing attractive investment incentives, and working with private sector to develop and implement investment promotion strategies. Macroeconomic factors, attractive investment policies is also very key to that. I guess we come to the end of our discussions for today's edition of Smart Means Business. Great thanks for being part of the show. And just to remind you that you can catch us on our social media handles at Smart24TV Twitter, Smart24TV Official, that's on Facebook, Smart24TV Live, that's on YouTube. For those of you that are obsessed with gadgets, you can actually go to your Google Play Store, download the Smart Digital application, and with this you will be in position to actually watch Smart24TV Live streaming at any part of the country that you will be at. Yes, and DSTV channel 372, GOTV channel 320, and you can also catch us on free to air as we broadcast to you this information. And if you're interested to partner with us, do business with us, well, we are very, very welcome. And we can also, you can actually come to our home. That is on plot 42, Nile Avenue. It's where I'm seated right now, broadcasting to you this information. Come, we talk business, we see how we can partner, how we can help each other grow in terms of business advice, and so many more. Well, that is it for today. And we'll link up tomorrow. See you. Good morning.